Hello everybody, and yet again welcome back to On The Limiter. This is another episode with a new direction, so we're going to bring you some fresh stuff with the channel. Now this one proves to be very exciting, so do stay tuned for it. What we'll be introducing is a new car into the fold, which I'll get to in just a second, and there's a reason for this car coming to the channel. Now what you'll have saw is a couple of weeks ago we did a roll and road day at GM Imports. Thanks to the guys there again for letting us use the roll and road on that day. We took the Cosmos up, and you will have seen that video. At that point, I owned the yellow Dakar M3. Now, as we've said, we had a bit of a break from the channel. We were both busy with our own stuff, and that yellow V8, I had actually owned that for 10 months and done a few bits and bobs, but that's old news now. We've now sold the yellow Dakar V8 for obvious reasons. I've had another burn. The two doors just really wasn't working for me anymore, but as a father who works hard for his family, what do? Do you sell the toy that you love and buy that family car, which I'm sure if you're watching this video, fellas, everybody's been through this situation before. Listen, we need a family car. You need to sell your fast car. We need to be sensible. We're a family now. Hell no. Not on my watch. That's just not going to happen. So what we did was, me and my missus met in the middle with a compromise, which is what brings you to the new arrival for the channel. It's an amazing machine. I have owned a lot of M3s over the years, and I always come back to a V8 because anybody who's owned a V8 just knows how phenomenal these cars actually are. And today is mainly an introduction. Now, there's a reason for this introduction. Now, me and Dan are looking to spice the channel up, bring you new stuff every week, and keep it ticking and keep you guys interested. Hopefully get the subscribers up, get the followers up, get people watching the videos. In order to do that, we need to bring you fresh stuff. So, this purchase has mainly been built up because you will have noticed back in earlier days on the channel, me and Dan did a track day at Croft. It wasn't a track day, it was a race. With me and Dan, what you need to understand about me and him is we are very good friends. We are very similar in a lot of ways. And the biggest similarity that we have is competitiveness. Nobody wants to lose. Everything with me and him is a race. If I ask him to go to the shop for a pint of milk, it's timed. That's how bad it gets. It's actually pathetic. But nevertheless, that's the way that we built, and that's the way that we are. So, I am basically trying to claw back my dignity from my loss in the earlier days in the Civic FD2, the white one. I'm sure you remember the video. If not, go back to the channel and find that one because it was interesting. Dan had his well-spec'd E46 M3. I had a well-spec'd FD2. Unfortunately, on the day, I was lacking a bit of straight-line power, and I came second. Now, you learn a lot of things in school that are very useless. Useful. Sorry, there is useless things at school, but some of them are useful. Now, there's no prizes for second place, and Dan has let me know that every week since the original loss in the FT2. So what we're going to do this time is, we always have conversations, and we've always said, you know, one day we'll have similar cars. We're very similar matched in drivers. We're both quick. We both enjoy it. We need to get the same cars. And I thought, you know what? Sod it. Let's do it. So this is the new car to go head-to-head, me and Dan. He has a coupe version of this, which is the red one in the GM Imports video. I now have the E90 5-door. Now, why did I choose an E90 5-door? I have had a recent new addition to the family, and the two doors really wasn't cutting the mustard. I love the Dakar M3, but it didn't really do what I needed it to do. So, what does any good father do when his family's in need? Do you buy a family diesel to run about in that's boring? Hell no. Not on my watch. It's never going to happen. You buy a 4-door V8 version of what you've previously had. Everybody wins. The family gets 5 nice seats, 4 nice doors, and I still get the V8. Now, this is the interesting part. Normally, I like to buy good cars. This is a good car, but it does have pitfalls, which is where we're going to build this series up. So, what I'll do is, I'll grab the camera, and I'll walk you around the V8. And as I'm walking you around the V8, I will explain the problems that we've got with this car that we need to sort out before it even consider seeing a track day. I actually personally feel like if it saw a track day the way it is at the minute, it would possibly kill me. It is a good car, but it does need work. So let me pick the camera up and I'll bring you in and I'll show you the 90. So, as you can see, obviously it has a Hamann front splitter. Now what you will notice is, again, I'm probably not doing myself any favours, but I think the whole point of having a good channel is to be completely transparent. So I'm going to run you through things that I am not happy with and the problems that I've got with this car. First of all, I'll just like you to put your attention to the front. As you'll notice, the panel gaps down the side of the bonnet, they aren't hideous. Not a lot of people would pick up on them, but the panel gaps are slightly out. So we need to get in and sort those panel gaps out. Now this car, I don't mind telling you, came in as a Part X, believe it or not. But for me, it was great because this is what I was going to buy anyway. Now, as per the panel gaps, this car is actually damage repaired. This was category S a fair few years ago, and it was hit in the driver's side front corner. As you can see, it is a beautiful, beautiful car. It's very nice. It's very clean and tidy. And like most M3s that we see, it still has been very well cared for. So in terms of its condition, it is in the right shape. But it does need some maintenance. So on driving this E90 back, we noticed a loud wheel bearing noise from the passenger side. So we need to sort that wheel bearing out. And the biggest bugaboo, which I'm not looking forward to sorting, we have a small gearbox issue. So this is DCT. When you're driving the car normally, it's fantastic. There's no issues with it at all until you get your foot on the floor, and then the gearbox gets slightly confused, wants to drop into second and third gear, and it's not sure where it actually needs to be. So what we're going to have to do for this is we're going to have to pop down and see our mate Steve at Mr. Vanos, who's in Darlton, and get him to go through this car. Now, this car at the minute as well is also due its rod bearings. In fact, it's well overdue its rod bearings. It's done 91,000 mile, and it's on its original rod bearings as well. So we're going to have to get that sorted and get to making this car as nice as it possibly can be. But what I will do is, obviously, we'll just leave this one as an introduction. We are going to build this one up into a series, but I just wanted to show you the new E90 V8 that's going to be making an appearance on the Limited channel, where you're going to build this. Now, as it stands at the moment, we've ordered a rake of parts. So there's a lot of talk in this one, not a lot of action, but do stay tuned. It's just a general introduction. I mean, at the moment, I think I've probably chucked $5,000 at this car this week before I've even driven it. So we've got a set of gold Pro Tracks on the way with e90 tyres. We have a new set of Recaro pole positions. Obviously, with this being the 4-door now, I don't need to worry about getting people in and out the back. So the pole position seats that I always wanted to run, I can now put these in here, and obviously the kids can get in back via the rear doors. So what else have we got? We've got a carbon front splitter on the way. We've got gloss black front grills on the way. We've got paddle extensions. Obviously, with this being DCT, steering wheel paddle extensions, they're on the way as well. So we are going to make this into what is known as a kind of club sport car. The club sport cars always have a cage, and unfortunately, I don't want my kids to die, bump the head, so there's not going to be a roll cage in the back of this car, but it will have everything else. It'll have the big brakes, it'll obviously have the sticky tyres, the wheels, the seats, basically as I've just been through. So yes, do stay tuned to this. This is Dan's fault, and this will lead up to a head-to-head battle in both of us, absolutely flat out in the V8 M3s. The outcome, I'm not sure. Both cars will be roll and roaded, so we know what power figures they're running. Both mods will be declared, so we know exactly what mods we're running, and we'll see who comes out on the top at the end of this video. I am feeling quietly confident at the moment. So just to add on to the end of this first video, we haven't posted the video yet. We recorded the first clips a couple of days ago. Now, the first bits that we ordered is the same bits that I always order for these V8, which is a GTS style front splitter. These are genuine carbon, and as you can see, these little ducts here feed air through at the brake. So what we'll do is we'll fit some genuine ducting in there right through at the back of the brake disc and add some cooling. As you can see, we've now removed the old splitter, getting ready for the new one to be fitted, which we'll get to. There are some other little bits. I always buy these little tidbits first. So paddle extensions, because I feel with the DCT, the standard paddle extensions, these ones are billet. The other ones are probably half the size of that. In terms of obviously getting your gears, it just helps if the paddles are a little bit bigger. So we're going to change them out. And the competition ones of these come with gloss black grills from the factory. And as you can see, the old ones are flat black. So we're going to just jazz that front end up just a little bit and then fit the gloss black grills in. Now, as I said here, we would go through and tell you all of the problems and pitfalls we found with this car. So in the same video, you'll have noticed I said, obviously, I think we've got a wheel bearing noise and we've got a problem with the gearbox. Now, I think I might have found our culprit, so I'm going to show you. So I'll flip this round and I'll take you in. Obviously, as you can see, we've now got the car on the ramp. Obviously, exhaust system at the minute as well, while we're going through, is completely stopped with the first and secondary cats still in place. Now, this is what I want to bring your attention to. As you can see straight away, that diff is absolutely soaking wet. So basically that's pissing oil out. So I think we've got a problem with the rear diff seal. So we're going to have to tackle that first. So in actual matter of fact, although I thought we might have had a wheel bearing off on the passenger side rear, actually, I think we've possibly got a noisy diff because obviously the diff hasn't got enough oil in. And to touch back on the last clip, if we don't have the right amount of oil in the diff and the diff's not doing the right things, the gearbox also won't perform correctly. So I think this is possibly the cause of our issue with the car not knowing where it wants to be in gears. So we're going to have to strip that down, put a new diff seal in there, and try new fluid. I'm definitely going to do that first because regardless of whether that's our problem with gears, obviously it's a problem nevertheless. Thank you again for staying tuned, and that brings us to the end of a new introduction with the e90 Mordor Alpine White V8 M3. Now do stay tuned for this one. There's some great bits coming for this car, and the finished article is going to be fantastic. So if you're into BMW M stuff or just track car builds in general, this little series that we're going to build up should remain to be very, very interesting. What we're going to try and do is, I've been having a bit of chat with Dan, and we're going to try and look at track days. So we may look at the Nürburgring and Spa double header. I think it's in April 2024. So that might be the possible battle at Spa, which would be out of this world for me. I drove Spa last year and it was phenomenal. But once again, from me and Dan at On The Limiter, thank you very, very much for watching these videos, and we'll see you on the next one.